A Rolex. For you. Are you sure you're in the right store?
Maybe he thought this was the clearance section.
Sweetheart, these start at 20 grand.
The glass door of the luxury boutique swung open, and every head turned. The man who stepped in looked ordinary. Gray hoodie, worn jeans, sneakers that had clearly seen better days. He walked with quiet confidence, but to the staff, he was invisible. The store was lined with polished marble, the kind of place where every breath feels expensive. Rolex watches shimmered under perfect white light, sitting in their velvet beds like sleeping royalty. Behind the counter, a woman with bright red lipstick and an expression sharp enough to cut diamonds leaned against a glass, scrolling on her phone. He walked up to her. Calm, polite. "Excuse me," he said softly. "Can I take a look at that one?" He pointed to a gleaming Rolex Daytona, gold and black, the kind rappers flex in music videos. The woman didn't look up. Then, slowly she did. Her lips curved into a smirk. "That one," she repeated, her voice dripping with disbelief. "Sir, that's over $40,000. He nodded. "Yeah, I know. Can I see it?" She exchanged a glance with another salesman across the counter. He grinned, shaking his head. "Sir," she said, half laughing now, "these are luxury watches. Maybe you'd like to look at something more affordable?" The man didn't flinch. "I asked to see that one." Her tone hardened. "Look, we don't let just anyone handle display models. You can't just—" Another customer, a white man in a tailored suit, stepped up beside him. The staff's tone changed instantly. "Good afternoon, Mr. Anderson. Back for the Submariner?" They ignored the man in the hoodie completely. The suited man chuckled. "Yeah, I'm thinking about grabbing one for my son. First-year college gift." The saleswoman laughed. "Well, you know what they say, good taste runs in the family." The man in the hoodie stepped back slightly, watching. His jaw tightened. He wasn't angry yet, just disappointed. He turned and walked slowly toward the exit. The staff exchanged smirks again. "Another window shopper," the salesman muttered. "They come in, ask about Rolex. Can't even afford a Casio." Everyone laughed, but the security camera above the counter caught something no one in the store noticed. The man in the hoodie didn't leave. He stepped to the side, pulled out his phone, and made a call. "Yeah," he said quietly. "It's me. I'm here now. Let's do it." He slipped the phone back in his pocket and waited near the glass doors, looking out at the street. 5 minutes later, a black SUV pulled up, tinted windows. A tall man in a black suit stepped out, walked straight in, and handed the saleswoman a brown envelope. "Who's the manager here?" he asked. She blinked. He's not in today. Can I help you?" The man in the suit smiled faintly. "You might want to call him right now." Her confidence wavered. "Why?" He pointed toward the man in the hoodie, who was standing silently near the entrance, hands in pockets, watching. "Because that man," he said, "just signed the purchase papers for this store." Her smile vanished. "I what?" Everyone in the store froze. Even the man in the suit who'd been shopping earlier turned, stunned. The man in the hoodie walked forward slowly, every step echoing on the marble floor. He stopped right in front of her. "You remember when I asked to see that Rolex?" he said quietly. "You said I couldn't afford it." Her throat went dry. "Sir, You laughed," he continued. "You and your friend over there. You judged me before you even looked me in the eye." He reached into his pocket. She flinched. He pulled out a black leather case, opened it. Inside were 2 platinum Rolexes. "Funny thing," he said, "I already own 10 of these. I just want to see how your staff treats people who don't look rich." The salesman stammered. "Sir, we didn't." The man smiled faintly. "You don't have to apologize," he said. "You'll have plenty of time to think about it, after you clear your desk." The saleswoman blinked. What do you mean?" He turned slightly toward the man in the suit. "They're the first 2 to go," he said simply. The man in the suit nodded, took out 2 envelopes, and handed them over. Termination effective immediately. The saleswoman's lipstick smile was gone now. She looked pale. "This isn't funny." "Neither was the way you treated me," he said. He turned toward the door, then paused. By the way, he added, I will take that Daytona. Put it on my tab. He walked out. The entire store was silent. The remaining staff just stood there, staring at the glass doors as they closed behind him. The door shut behind him, and for a long, stunned second, the only sound in the Rolex store was a faint hum of the air conditioning. No one moved. The red-lipped saleswoman stared at the envelope in her hand, as if it might vanish if she blinked. Her co-worker just kept whispering, No way, no way. The suited customer, Mr. Anderson, let out a low whistle. Guess I picked the wrong day to buy a watch. He set the submariner back on the counter, gave them one last look of pity, and walked out too. Outside, cameras were already rolling. Someone across the mall had filmed the entire thing on their phone. The laughter, the confrontation, the moment the man revealed who he was. The clip hit TikTok before he even reached the parking lot. Within minutes, the caption read, They laughed at him for asking about a Rolex. Then he bought the whole store. It exploded. Comments flooded in, Instant karma. That man's my hero. This is why you never judge people. Subscribe if you do the same thing one day. Inside the boutique, the manager finally rushed in, sweating. What happened here? The saleswoman stammered. To that man, he said he bought the store. He fired us. The manager flipped open the envelope. His eyes widened when he saw the legal seal. Oh my God! The paperwork was real. The man's name was Elijah Brooks. The staff exchanged shocked looks. The name sounded familiar, but they couldn't place it. The manager sank into a chair. Do you people even know who he is? Silence. Elijah Brooks, he said slowly, owns the Brooks Group, the investment firm that's been buying half the retail chain in this city. He's worth over $100 million. The saleswoman's knees buckled slightly. She gripped the counter. He looked like... The manager cut her off. Like what? Poor? Because of a hoodie? You just insulted one of the wealthiest men in the state. Meanwhile, outside an SUV, Elijah sat quietly in the back seat, watching the store through tinted glass. His driver glanced at him through the mirror. You sure you don't want to go back in, sir? Elijah shook his head. No need. Lessons been taught. He unlocked his phone. Notifications poured in. Thousands of tags, duets, comments. The video was viral already. He sighed, half amused, half tired. He never planned for this to blow up. He'd walked in that morning just wanted to test something. His late father used to say, People's true colors show when they think you can't do anything for them. Elijah whispered the words under his breath, staring at his reflection in the dark window. Dad was right again. That evening, the mall looked different. Reporters showed up. The store's door stayed locked. Behind them, the manager waited nervously as Elijah finally returned. No hoodie this time. A black suit, gold cufflinks, quiet authority. The cameras caught everything. As soon as he stepped inside, flashes popped. Reporters shouted, Mr. Brooks, did you really buy the store? Why did you fire the employees? Are you planning to shut it down? He raised a hand for silence. His voice carried calm power. I didn't buy this store to embarrass anyone. I bought it because people deserve to be treated with respect, no matter what they wear, what color they are, or how much money they look like they have. He turned to the manager. Where's the rest of the staff? The manager swallowed hard. Outside, sir. Waiting. Bring them in. One by one, the employees walked in. The saleswoman's eyes were red from crying. Her voice shook. Mr. Brooks, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. It was... He stopped her gently. You meant exactly what you said. You just didn't expect consequences. She looked down. He continued. You don't judge success by the clothes on someone's back. I started out washing dishes in a diner. I bought my first watch after 3 years of saving tips. And when I walked into a place like this wearing the same shoes you laughed at today, they treated me the same way. He looked around at all of them. That's why I decided, if I ever had the chance, I'd build something better. A pause. Then he smiled slightly. And now I do. He handed the manager a folder. Inside was a new policy, mandatory diversity and respect training. quarterly anonymous reviews from customers, bonus incentives for kindness. The staff read in silence. Then Elijah said something none of them expected. "I'm not keeping the store," he said. "I'm donating it to a youth employment program. They'll use it to train young people from underprivileged neighborhoods in retail management. Maybe then, the next Elijah Brooks who walks through those doors won't get laughed at." The manager blinked. "Sir, you're giving away?" He nodded. "You can't build legacy on humiliation. You build it on opportunity. If you were Elijah, would you forgive them or fire them all? Comment below right now, what would you do? And hey, if you're loving this story, tap that like button. It really helps us grow. Subscribe so you never miss stories that hit like this one. The next day, clips of the moment went everywhere. CNN, Instagram, even morning talk shows. Hashtags trended. Hashtag respect all customers. Hashtag Elijah Brooks celebrities reposted it. People shared their own stories of being judged for how they looked. But behind the scenes, Elijah sat alone in his office, scrolling through messages. One caught his eye. "Thank you for standing up for people like me. I work 2 jobs, and they treat me like dirt because I can't dress fancy. You gave me hope." He leaned back in his chair, eyes softening. That message mattered more than any headline. Later that week, he walked through the same mall again. No cameras, no entourage this time. The new youth program had already begun moving in. Teenagers were painting, laughing, setting up displays. A young boy looked up and gasped. "You're him, the Rolex guy." Elijah laughed. "Guess that's me." The kid grinned. "They said you bought the store just to teach them a lesson. That true?" Elijah smiled. "Let's just say, some lessons cost a lot less than a Rolex." The kid laughed, shaking his head. "Man, you're cool." Elijah crouched down a little, serious now. "Listen, kid, don't ever let how people treat you make you smaller. You show them who you are through your work, your respect, your grind. That's how you win." The kid nodded slowly. "Yes, sir." Elijah ruffled his hair, stood, and walked toward the exit. Outside, the evening light hit the mall glass, throwing his reflection back at him. No hoodie, no disguise, just the man his father raised him to be. He checked his wrist. The Daytona shimmered quietly under the light. He smiled. "Worth every second," he murmured. What part of Elijah's story hit you the hardest? Drop in the comments. I read every one. And if you believe respect should never depend on appearance, share this video. Let's make it reach someone who needs to see it. Subscribe to RES Stories for more real-life lessons that'll stay with you. Morning light poured through boutique's windows, flooding the new sign that read, "The Brooks Training Center. Respect is luxury." It had been 3 weeks since the story went viral, but the world still hadn't stopped talking. News anchors debated it. Podcasts quoted Elijah's line, "You can't build legacy on humiliation." High school students were writing essays about it. Inside the renovated space, the atmosphere was nothing like before, where sleek counters once separated staff from customers. Open tables now displayed watches for anyone to handle. The place smelled like coffee, not perfume. Elijah walked in quietly, hands in his pockets. The trainees looked up. Some whispered, "That's him." "No way, that's the guy." He smiled and waved. "Morning, everyone." A young woman, barely 20, name tag reading Kendra in turn, stepped forward. "Mr. Brooks, we were just setting up for orientation. You want to start it off?" He nodded. "Sure." He climbed onto a small wooden platform where the jewelry cases used to be. 3 weeks ago, he began, this was a store where you had to look rich to be treated with respect. Today, it's a place where everyone learns that respect is the product. The room fell quiet. He looked around at the faces, young, nervous, hopeful. When you start serving customers, you'll see all kinds. Some come in wearing suits. Some walk in from a construction shift. You won't know who they are, and you don't have to. What you do need to know is this. Every person deserves to be treated like they matter, because they do. Applause rippled through the room. Kendra raised her hand. "Sir, do you ever think about those employees you fired?" Elijah paused. "Every day," he said honestly. Because forgiving someone doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means using it to grow. He gestured toward the doorway. That's why they're here. The crowd turned. The same saleswoman and her co-worker from that humiliating day walked in, each wearing the new trainee badge. Eyes widened all around. They asked for a second chance, Elijah explained. And I believe in second chances. The saleswoman's voice trembled as she faced the trainees. If you ever catch yourself judging someone, stop. I lost a job and my pride in 1 minute. Don't make that mistake. People remember how you make them feel. Elijah nodded, quietly proud. Later, after the session, he stepped outside for air. The mall was alive again, kids laughing, music from stores, the rhythm of everyday life. A familiar voice called out, "You sure know how to turn a scandal into a school." It was the mall manager, smiling. "You become kind of a legend here." Elijah chuckled. Legends are just people who didn't quit when it got hard. They walked a few steps together. The manager asked, "So what's next for you?" Elijah looked thoughtful. "There's a jewelry chain in Atlanta with the same problem. Employees treat customers like walking wallets. Maybe it's time for another lesson." The manager laughed. "You're unstoppable." Elijah smiled. "Just paying forward what I learned." He reached into his jacket and pulled out an old photograph. His father at the diner. Sleeves rolled up, a paper watch drawn on his wrist by a little boy. That little boy was him. He whispered, "Miss you, Dad." That evening the mall closed, but Elijah stayed behind. He walked the empty corridor until he reached the storefront one last time. The glass reflected the neon lights from across the hall, framing him between his past and future. Inside, the new trainees were laughing, taking selfies, helping each other adjust watch displays. The sound warmed him. His phone buzzed, unknown number. He hesitated, then answered, "Mr. Brooks?" It was a red-lipped saleswoman's voice. "I just want to say thank you for giving me another chance." He smiled. "Make it count." "I will." When the call ended, he slipped the phone away and stood for a moment, eyes closed, listening to the quiet hum of the mall lights. For the first time in a long time, he felt peace. Not revenge, not satisfaction, just peace. He took one last look at the sign, "Respect is luxury." Then he turned and walked into the night. Elijah didn't just buy a store. He bought change. He proved that respect costs nothing, but means everything. What would you have done in his place? Would you give those employees a second chance or walk away for good? Drop your answer in the comments right now. If you believe respect should never depend on appearance, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder today. And don't forget, subscribe to Residential Stories for more powerful true life tales that hit deep.